Good evening, guys. Uh, I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Let's get started. So on the futures, we are up $2, which is flat, very low volume. And so we're not gonna be able to analyze any sentiment regarding futures. I believe all futures are flat. Natural gas is flat. Oil is flat. Gold is flat. So everything is flat, which is expected due to the holiday tomorrow. Open again here. So I don't know if you guys remember, we have been talking about the yearly pivot for maybe 3 weeks, and how that was going to be a very important level for ES. So I'm not sure. I think our stream, I have to check. Last Sunday was the 2019. So our stream was right here on this candle, and we were commenting that if we bounced, we will retest here. But if we lose the pivot again, we're probably gonna see a downside, which was exactly what happened. We lost that pivot, came here, retest this 2840, which is as I don't know if you guys remember, is this previous month pivot. So we bounced there, retest the yearly pivot and couldn't break above it. I post on the chat this during the night. I think it was 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. And I was saying how many rejections we were having from the yearly pivot. And if that was going to keep happening, we're probably going to retest our monthly pivot, 2806, which that's what happens. So right now we bounced and we're retesting again that 2840. We need to break above it. If we can't break, we're going to see that typical draw that we always do, retest of resistance. And either we're going to go straight down here, or if we find some strength or some kind of catalyst, we can do a higher low and then try to push through again. So that's going to be interesting to see which scenario is going to happen. Are we going to have strength to push through the 40 again, or are we going to break down from here? What could happen also is that once it gets back the monthly pivot, we actually consolidate for a little bit to push through or break down. Because as you can see, every time that it got here, it just had a crazy impulse from it. We never actually consolidated here. So I'm wondering if we're going to have a scenario like that too. So have something like retest here, which is doing right now, and then can't hold, and then we going to stay in a range for a little bit. And then either gonna break down or gonna go up. So that's gonna be interesting to see. Let's check a few of the major stocks that we trade every day in the options and in the big board. So this is Apple. I'm kind of concerned about Apple just a little bit if we can't see news coming on it. And this is the reason. Okay, so we lost this pivot. When we lost the pivot, we talk about a downside, right? And we got to the yearly, which is the orange line, and the monthly cluster. And as you can see on the first time, we failed to close under. We had a very strong reaction pushing through. This is the 4-hour candle. And we failed to close under. And with that, we saw a move higher, close this gap here, and then we broke again to retest those levels. But this time, we had a very bearish close under those pivots. So I'm wondering if this week, upcoming week, we are going to retest the 176.55, which is this purple line here, which is our quarterly pivot. And I believe that's the main quarterly pivot. Yes. So this is the main quarterly pivot. And if that happens, that's just going to give another proof and another example live that 80% of the times, we test the main pivot of the time frame in question. This is the quarterly. So are we going to retest the main pivot? What are going to happen after we test the main pivot? So that's going to be interesting also to see. Now, the main monthly pivot for the month of June so far is projected to be at 190.70. So what we could see is a retest here, and then we can bounce from here, reclaim this, and then we see a push through. All of this is going to depend on the market. Apple moves strongly with the market, so it's going to be interesting to see with the ES on that bearish note, and Apple is on a bearish note too. If as you can see, this quarterly pivot is also this pivot here that has some action. We may even see, you see, we can maybe even see a little zone here based on this price action. So we're going to see what happens. But as of now, I am a little bearish on Apple. If we don't have any catalyst coming in on Apple, we're probably going to retest this monthly, this quarterly pivot at 176.55. Now let me delete this real quick so we can make plans for Monday. Okay, where is Monday? So this was Friday. So Tesla is trading below all this congested area. Our main Monday zone is going to be 179.59, 179.91. So it's going to have a lot of resistance for Monday. If we don't have any catalyst, I will be looking to short Apple anywhere in the zone with a stop of a break and hold of the higher main pivot at 179.91. So you have many ways to do this. You can wait and see how it reacts and then enter a position. You can scale in on each of these pivots and cut if it breaks here. So there are many ways to play it. So that would be my main thinking on Apple Monday is a short, unless we have a very strong catalyst that makes everything gap up above this. If it doesn't gap up and doesn't have a catalyst, my target is going to be right here. So I will be looking for a short on the pops to get over here. That's my target. If we keep on this trend. Now I don't trade BTC. Somebody asked me about BTC. I don't trade BTC, but somebody was saying that when BTC goes up, market goes down. I don't personally know the correlation between the market and BTC, so I can't say. Let me see if I can pull. I have a chart here of BTC. Let me see if I can share with you guys. It's loading. 1 second. which is a very interesting thing. I was checking for a friend of mine because I don't trade crypto, but I was checking for a friend of mine. Let me share my trading view. 1 second. Just want to make sure everything's set right. Okay, can everybody see my trading view? Okay, so a friend of mine asked me what I thought about BTC, and I couldn't find the BTC ticker on TOS, only the futures. Somebody pointed me out to the futures of Bitcoin. So I went to TradingView and kind of set up basically the pivots there. It has some of them are missing, like the quarterly, they don't have it. I'm working on coding a script, a pivot script for TradingView, so stay tuned for that. But I was telling him, he was watching right here for the breakout, right of this area here, and I was mentioning that it keeps rejecting to the pivot. The pivot R1 keeps rejecting, so once it breaks, it's gonna go. Let me do all this. So that was when it was at 63. So what is interesting is that when it was way down there, I told him, I just want to make sure it was there. I wanted to say it was here at the 52. I had to check my Twitter. I tweeted there so I can check and see which level it was. I have an impression that it was over here at 53 because it couldn't break this pivot for nothing. But once it broke, when it was there, I was checking where is the yearly pivot, and the yearly pivot was all the way to 10K. And I was, I don't, that's so far. It's like 100% from where it is right now. But look how close we are right now. It's like only 1400 to get to the yearly pivot. So if we can hold this R1 here, this is the, I believe this is the weekly. It's hard to know because it's a different setup of mine. And it's a kind of patch that I did on TradingView. But as you can see, it's reacting perfect to the pivots like this. This I know is the monthly pivot. It reacts to it so perfectly. And once it was able to broke through retest, now it's putting new highs, very strong new highs. So the next level, if we can keep holding this strong, is 98.42 and 10K. So I wonder if we're gonna get there. Again, I don't have my quarterly pivots because they don't have it. So I don't know if there's something in between. I can do the calculations manually later on and tell you guys on the chat. But on the chart, that's all I can see right here. It broke through the monthly pivot R3. The R3 is very overextended. But when you have a momentum stock, as you guys know, when we talk about on the big boards, you can get to the R10, R9, R8 many times, like BPTH, if I'm not mistaken, we went all the way to the R9, and we were taking profits all the way on each pivot, because that's how you do it. Like, who would know that the BPTH was gonna get to the R10? That is like R9. It's impossible to know something like that will happen. So to be safe, you keep taking your partials on each of those levels. So guys, if this thing get to 10K, everybody had to send me a pizza or something. But let's see. We're gonna see what happens. Let's go back to our stocks. Let me change the share. Okay, everybody can see back TOS. Okay, cool. So that's the Apple plan. We are bearish until this breaks. Until this levels breaks, we are bearish. So let's mark until all of this breaks, we are bearish. Now, if this gets here and rejects on the higher pivot and you're short, just keep an eye on here to see if it's gonna hold support, because it can just be a breakout back test and go back up. So if you're short here, try to keep a close eye on the price action. Maybe even take some partials there and see how it goes. Trend line. Okay. The other stock we're gonna check is ROKU. It's loading. Okay, guys, so where the heck Roku is going, right? We talk on the chat that if Roku were able to hold, let me open here. If Roku was able to hold the 9164 and then when it broke above it, somebody asked me in the chat, right, when it was right over here, is it too late to enter Roku? I say wait a little bit for pullback. You can either get on the reclaim on this pivot or on the bounce of VWAP. We never got to VWAP, but we got that clean reclaim of this pivot here. So if you and if that happen, our next target would be 95.86, 96.11 zone, which is our monthly yearly pivot. So Monday is going to be a very interesting day on Roku. If we can't hold this, it's going to be a drop of at least 2 points on Roku. And if we can hold, then we can project to go to 100 to 101. Of course, you're going to have these small speed bumps, and of course, we're going to take partial profits on each one of them. But as a long-term view, we always, when we're planning our trades, we always look at the higher time frame pivots. So our next zones would be the 174, 101.11 if we can hold this zone here. If we can't hold, then we go down. Now, an interesting fact is that if you remember, we just talked about Apple, how the monthly pivot was above it, right? The stock was here, monthly pivot for next month in June was above here. On Roku is the opposite. The monthly main pivot for June is at 84.69. So if for any reason we can't hold this pivot zone, we're gonna go most likely right around here. Now, this is not a set value yet because the month is not closed. The monthly pivot calculation is finished, set by the end of the last trading day of the month. But it's not going to change that much. It's going to be around this area here. And you also have this quarterly. So it's going to create a very nice support zone around here that we can look and to get into the dip if it holds, right? But you can write the puts as well, which is a good approach in my opinion. We can also see if it holds, we can see a retest over here, and then watch out for a breakthrough. This is one thing I talk a lot. When you push through a very strong pivot and you lose that strong pivot, most likely you're going to retest and then you're going to flush. So that's something to watch too. Somebody asked me something. Oh yeah, Tuesday. Yes, yeah, you're right. It's Tuesday. I said Monday, but it's Tuesday. It's just my mind didn't click yet that we are not trading tomorrow. Okay, so knock. Somebody wants me to check knock. Let's check it out. Looking for near term. Bullish or bearish near term? Bullish, okay. Yeah, it's definitely, it came down, it broke this zone, this strong zone, the yearly, quarterly zone, then bounce right off the monthly, regain that, retest over here, push through, and then gapped above it, retest the monthly pivot, and now we lost the monthly pivot, then we push through again. So this time, if we're gonna have a pullback, it needs to hold over here. It's gonna be a crucial point for us to try to hit this target here, 530. It needs to hold. The main monthly for June is projected at 506. We still have about a week trade on the month. So we'll see how it closes. I'll give you all the last numbers, the set numbers on the stream next month, next Sunday. And then we can have more solid plans, projections for the month of June. But Nokia, yes, Nokia has the potential to go up. It just needs to hold the level, right? So let's see, let me see a little bit, and I want to see a little bit on the past, see if we have what we have over here. Okay, so that's why he's hesitating a little bit there. Yeah, so you're gonna have some trouble at the 524, 520, 524, 527 level. Once we can break the 516, 518 level. But yeah, it needs to hold. If it takes forever to move, most likely it's gonna come here and then use this pivot as the trampoline to go there. So if it takes all the week to move from this range, most likely the line in the sand is gonna be this next monthly main pivot, which we're gonna know the number by the end of the week. Now let's see. Let's see intraday. Okay, so the weekly main pivot is right over here, and we're trading above so far. We kind of close it. So this is going to be a very strong support that you have to look for it. Watch how he acts to it. If we don't hold it, wait a little bit to see where you're gonna find support. Are we gonna retest that 5 line that we talk about that we had to hold? If it does, if we lose that, then we're gonna retest over here. So be a little patient on your entry. If we lose that, you can even try to be aggressive and enter, but then you have to cut your losses if we lose this, because then you can just re-enter for cheaper here, or if you're just trying to build a position, you just enter a small part over here and add on the break and hold, or you add on the break the hold of this support, lower support over here. So that will be the plan. Okay. Well, I think everybody was watching Disney too this week, so let's check it out. Aladdin just opened this weekend. I think they did so far about 75 million in the US, and they're expecting to hit 100 million on the extended weekend, which counts tomorrow. So Disney happened exactly what we talk about. It needs to break this 135.76. If you check our previous streams, you're gonna see that we talk about this level. This is a very important level. It needs to hold for Disney to move up. Now, so far it's holding that cluster we talk about also. So it's holding this cluster here. It looks like it wants to go there and retest it. So that's something to keep an eye on Disney. We don't want to lose these pivot zones. This is going to be nasty if we lose that. So that's something you have to keep an eye on it. If you're long or you intend to be long, try to get as close as possible to those zones. And if we break, you can even give it a take the low of this candle here if you want to. But usually when we lose this, it just goes. But you can watch this, it may bounce here and retest for a graceful exit. We'll see. The weekly main pivot is at 133.10. So we are trading below it. That means we had to break above it for a move higher. We are also trading below the projected Tuesday's main zone, which is 132.77, 132.84. So it needs to break this, then it needs to break over here. So if we manage to break this zone here, we're probably gonna have a reaction and a back test over here. And if it's strong enough, if there's interest in buying, then we're gonna see a push through. I really don't expect to see a first push through over this, but if there is a lot of course it can happen, a lot of buying interest on this. Historically speaking, the Memorial Day week after the Memorial Day is a bullish, has some bullish strong moves. So we'll see how it happens, right? It can repeat, but it's not like a set and the stone thing. So you have always to play the levels. What does VWAP means? VWAP is the volume weighted average price, if I'm not mistaken, which is calculated and use it as a fair price by the institutions. So let's say you see is this line in yellow, this white line here. So let's say I own 3,000 shares of Disney, and I call my broker and said, my fund manager and said, okay, I want to sell Disney. So the fund is gonna say, okay, I will guarantee you the VWAP price. So what happens is that the institutions is gonna either buy or sell at the VWAP. So once the price gets to VWAP, that's when the institution is gonna sell this client's position. If they can sell higher, then that's a plus for them. The client had the moving average price, right? The VWAP price. So basically it's used like above, if it's trading above, it's considered bullish. If it's trading below, it's considered bearish. So that's a very simplistic way to say it. A lot of people I use the upper and the lower VWAP is a standard deviation of the VWAP. You see, if it's a bullish move, if it's a bullish and I'm intending to buy a stock, I always try to get as close as to the VWAP I can. And if it's traded below, I watch the lower VWAP for a good deal on entering to buy. And the same thing as selling. If I want to sell my position, I will try to sell either at the VWAP or near the upper VWAP. So it's a very simplistic way to do it. You can see a lot of videos on YouTube. We can maybe do a little short videos on how to trade the VWAP later on, but that's how basically it works. Okay, so we'll talk about Disney. Yeah, it has to break this. That's gonna be rough. But with the Aladdin move, I wonder if it's gonna go. We'll see. I really like to have those drawings and then we can compare what actually happened. Okay, so let's check low. Looking for short-term bullish. Yeah, I'm also looking at low. If you guys check on the chat, Short Hammer, me, Frank, we have been watching low for a reclaim of these pivots here, 96.49, 97.07, which is the key level to reclaim. So far it bounced. It's trying to hold this previous pivots. If you can't hold that here on the back test to go to test here, then it's gonna go 93. Let me remove this. I don't like that the color is the same as my quarterly pivot. It bothers me. But the best price to get, if we can have a flush, is at around 91 over here on this area. You see how the price action is so strong on that area. See here 91s. But if you enter over here, your stop has to be on the low of this candle, because then you can get another nasty move down. If you want to wait for confirmation, watch the 96.49, 97.07 for a reclaim. Now, intraday speaking, if you want to trade it intraday, we took, Frank on the chat took a position based on this pivot here that we called Friday. I think it was Friday, yeah. This pivot here, the 94.48, I think 94.49. We said that he had to hold, and it was going to be an inside day, and we'll be happy with an inside day because the market was so weak. We were happy with that inside day. You see how it was traded inside of this previous day. That's the definition of inside day. So we were happy with that. We were happy that he held this pivot here, and he had a very nice close. So we'll watch tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. I'm not used to holidays, as you guys can notice. So 95.18 is the day main pivot for Tuesday. What we can see maybe is a pullback and push, or we can see another retest over here, but preferably we wanted to hold over here. That would be our preference for sure. And then we can go and retest that zone that we talk about. A break above that, then it's probably gonna send this spiral to the 100. I don't see any other weekly pivot, which is curious. Is this a glitch maybe? Let me see. Let me change this, see if it changes. Let me load again. I don't see the next week's pivots on this. Oh, it's because they're way up there. 95. Wow. Yeah, the main pivot for next week is at 143. So that's $5 above the current price. That's interesting. Where is the support pivot? Usually they are not. Wow, 89. Yeah, that's just too much down. I don't think we're gonna see something like that, but it needs to break this. The only way to avoid downside is breaking resistance. If we can't break resistance, then downside it is. That is basically as that. There's no way, no need to complicate anything. So yes, if we bounce here, our first target is gonna be here, and then we watch for break and hold to move to the 100. That would be nice to see. I think Frank is gonna be very happy about it. Okay. So what else? Yes, Friday calls. Let's check Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon is kind of holding hands with Apple a little bit. Just checking here. Trying to hold over here. But I really don't like when we keep losing pivots. It bothers me when we retest and can't hold. So we try to stay above it over here. Is this Friday? 24th. Yeah. On Friday, we tried to push it, but we couldn't hold the pivot again, and we went back down. So I don't like when that happens. I always feel a little bit bearish about it. Next month's main pivot so far is at 1863, so that could be a good time for a short-term pop. Let's see. The main weekly pivot is at 1835. So this is going to be a zone here, 1831, 39, 1835, 4-point zone on Amazon, which is absolutely nothing for Amazon. It's trading below the Tuesday's main zone. So this is almost identical scenario as Apple, right? If we break above this, then we're going to face this strong zone over here. So that's something to watch. If we have downside, the first target is going to be 1791.99. And if we get upside and we break through this 1835, next target most likely is going to be the 1850 and then 1866. 1873 is the stronger level, so we'll see. Okay, let's check at team. Okay, so this is pivot trading 101, that almost textbook, right? So it pushed through the yearly pivot. It couldn't break, then it came back down, broke through the quarterly, but it could bounce and reclaim, test again the yearly 1, 2, 3, 4 times and couldn't break. This time it made a higher low on the quarterly pivot, then it's pushing through again. And now we're gonna check if we are gonna push through the yearly. If we push the yearly, then the next target will be 135.83 long term. Let me see. I think this has never have been here before. Yeah. So this is uncharted territory, and another evidence how the pivots work so well and how institutions and algos trade them. The price never came here. So why am I shorting 130.20? Because there's a yearly pivot. Until it breaks and hold, I am bearish, right? So right now, you see this empty candle is doing a higher low towards the pivot. So I'm not going to short it right away. I want to see how it reacts to it Tuesday. And then we go from there. If we break and lose the pivot, then it's a different story. If we push through the pivot, everybody's happy, yay, 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 then start taking profits and we lose the pivot. And then, yeah, I am going to short. I'm going to short over here. I want to see if we're going to lose this pivot, and if the pivot cannot break back up, that's a great short to take to 128.11. So that's something to see. Now, if it holds, for next target is going to be 132.41 short term, then 135.31, 135.85, which is that cluster of the quarterly pivot and this week's pivot. That's going to be interesting. I'm gonna put this on my watch list. Thank you, Andrew. It made me remind me. I was watching when it was here. I forgot completely to follow how it looks. Yeah, it does look like a nice flag. That's why I'm saying to wait and see. No, don't short on this one. Wait and see how it goes. Only we short if we lose the pivot, not on the push through, like on the other times. Is a different. This one is overextended. See how it's overextended push, overextended push. That's different. Looks a little bit different. So let's see how it goes Monday. BCRX. But if you don't have a position on team, watch these levels. If we bounce, if we dip before testing this pivot again, let's say we dip to the main pivot and we hold the main weekly pivot, then you can try to take a long over here and take a partial here and then see if we can push through. And stop loss, it could be right below here. If you have a very tolerance risk, then you can wait for the last week's main pivot to break. So give it around 126.90s to cut your trade if you want a loose stop on this. Oh, I didn't want to delete. I wanted to keep the lines. Okay, there you go. Okay, BCRX. Yeah, so BCRX have been on this little tiny range. We talk about that it needs to break. It needs to break this pivot. As you can see, it couldn't break the first time, but it's still holding that little range. I don't even want to do a trend line on this because it's so ridiculous. But if you were going to do one, it would be right here. So it could be a bear flag. It could be just a flag. We need time to see. I don't think that high matters at the moment. It doesn't match anything. Yeah, I don't like this trend line so much, but trying to think how other traders are thinking. I prefer more to do on the bodies than on the wicks, but so for me it doesn't matter the pivots. I don't look too much at the patterns, but I like to recognize them. I like to know they are there. But it needs to break this pivot 378. As I mentioned in the chat, next month's main pivot is at 486 and the yearly pivot is at 498. So pivot wise, we have 80% chance of this going to 486 next month. So that's the key, is next month. So it can happen on June 1st. It can happen June 30th, right? So you have the entire month for this to happen. We have many scenarios. We could come here, retest the quarterly pivot at 271 and then push over there. But I think this is what is it, 70 cents lower? It's like a strong haircut on this. So we have to watch. Ideally, we want a push through this pivot before the month ends, and then hold the support, and then we push over here. That would be the ideal scenario for the bulls. Let me try to delete all this. It should have the option on TOS not to propagate to the lower time frames, but I guess it doesn't have. because it kind of messed up with the TA on this side here. Okay, so let's see. Where is my main weekly pivot? 3. I don't see pivots. Oh, there's one here. So now, why is the other one? Okay. I'm looking. Oh, 463. Good Lord. That's high. That's around here. That's interesting. That would be nice to see this week hitting there, right? It needs to break 377. That's the key level. Break of 377. Yeah, we can get there 463. No problem. It needs to break and hold 377. That's the level. If you don't have a position, you can either wait for that. If you don't mind, what is this? 40 cents. If you don't mind being 40 cents above the current price, if you want to wait for the confirmation, just wait for the 377, and then you enter your position on the hold of 377. AXSM. You enter at 2339. 2339, right here. 23. So about 70 cents risk to here, and you're up way more than that, that's a great risk reward. Yeah, so it needs to break the quarterly pivot. Everybody knows I was gonna say that. It's like I always say the same things. It's just my strategy. Why change something that works, right? So it needs to break 25.46, 25.46 to go to 26.43, 26.66. That would be the next target if it does. Now, it failed to push. That was a nice bounce over here. Then it retested and failed again, but it's holding kind of trend line over here. This is the 4-hour. So it's still doing higher lows. I'm just gonna disconsider this week here. I have no idea what happened over here, but maybe news or something. But it's doing this trend up and it's trying to squeeze on the pivot. So let's see. It has support for the week at 2387. So that's a good thing. It's trading above the weekly. So if we dip there, so if we dip here, it needs to hold, and then we can try to push through and hit this 25.46 again, and then do like this and hit our PT, which is this 46.40s. Now, if we lose this, it has a high chance to go 22.60s again. The last week's main pivot is at 22.52, so this is a nice support zone that we may see a retest, and then it needs to hold. Projected June's main pivot is at 22.54, which is going to add another layer of support for next month, but it needs to be trading above that next month. If we lose this before next month, then this is going to be a strong resistance. Let's see. Oh, there is a catalyst coming up pretty soon for phase 2 data. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Are you guys planning to hold through that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, just take maybe a partial or something. You have shares or do you have options on this? Does it have options? Shares. Okay. Yeah, these options, it actually had 387 Friday. No, it's not a bad volume, but this price is just horrendous. Let me see July. Sometimes if you go a month out, July is a little bit better. Not much, but it's a little bit better. The volume is worse. Maybe it's just because it just opened the contracts. But look at the open interest on this one, 5,900 contracts. That's a whole lot. The puts don't have too much open interest on it. This is interesting because look how much open interest in it. It looks like the flow is a little bullish on this. 5,900. Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, let's keep an eye on this. That's going to be interesting to watch. If you look at if you analyze only the the open interest, this is way more bullish than bearish. Look how many contracts you have over here, and there you don't have that much. Look at this. There's 11, 7, 50, 16. On this side, you have 1,400, 152, 580, 180. This is for August. The flow, the open interest is definitely bullish on this. So we'll see. Like I don't hold through events like earnings or phase of FDA stuff like that. I don't hold, but this will be interesting. I'll keep an eye on it. If you can remind me in the chat a few days before they're going to release the phase 2 information, that would be awesome. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We can see a couple more. If you guys have any preference, let me know. I was gonna check something. Let me see if somebody sent me a message. Somebody mentioned a stock. Oh, let's check NVDA, right? Let's check NVDA real quick because NVDA, as Shorthammer pointed out, Friday has been the weakest of them all. Let's see where it can go to. Oh yeah, I would not be surprised if this goes here. I really would not be. It's like a magnet, guys. It's just like a magnet. And look how bearish was that close. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we have an impulsive move here and then just a shoot up. Impulsive move and everybody gets scared and then come in the institutions and just like that. I would definitely not be surprised if that happens. Let me get those levels for you guys. Oh, this is a strong level right here. Yeah, so all this zone here is going to be a very interesting zone to watch. Let me copy this color here since I can edit my stuff. So let me put a line right on this monthly pivot, previous monthly pivot. I need to change this to be a dotted line because the previous month pivot, not this month. But I'll change it later. Zoom doesn't let me change my settings. See how it's weird. It's just so weird. But anyways, 144. So it's gonna be a $2, about $2 zone over here that we have to keep all eyes on it. Let's see. It's looking so bearish. It's crazy. If we don't have any catalyst, it's definitely gonna go there. Look how close it is from there. It's like, yeah, I'll put this one here zone. If you wanted to make it smaller, and then like here, maybe just keep this as a line, and this bottom here as a zone. So this is 142.25. The quarterly is at 143.17, and that previous May month pivot that has so many reactions to it is 144.14. So if you're looking for a long trade on NVIDIA, keep your eye from 144 to 142.25. If we break below this, wait for a reclaim. Don't try to catch the falling knife. Wait for the reclaim of the zone, and then you look for entry. If we lose this, it can go bad quickly. So don't try to catch the falling knife on this. Now, if you are bearish, look for a short entry. Look for key levels like the main Tuesday's pivot, which is at 146.37, 146.50. So maybe a reaction to this pivot. Then we go here. Then watch, because it can be one of a two. If it reaches over here and bounce, it can be de-bounce, and then it's just gonna eat you alive, like fake you out with a little higher low, and then you're gonna grind, and then do like this, and then you're gonna think it's a bearish flag or something, and then the thing just shoots through, because that's how NVDA it is. Goes to the main weekly pivot right there at 148.58 and eat you alive. So those are things to watch. If you are gonna short, if you wanna short over here, just keep an eye on that. And if you wanna short at the main weekly pivot, that would be a better level if it goes there, right? We're just making plans. If it goes there, that would be a good level to keep an eye on it for a short entry, for weakness. Maybe a push through, and then you can't hold, and then you short it. Watching this level over here, 147.90s, which was also Friday's top of the main zone. So this could be provide some support if you push through. If you push through and hold over here, it can just bounce from there and go. So you can keep an eye on that. You can short on the fail to hold over here, and then you trail down. So you are on a very important, you get into a very important zone on NVIDIA. It has been very beat down. This thing has been punished like tremendously. It was trading at 195 last month. It's like, wow. And now it's at 144. So it lost $50 in value almost. That's like, well, to simplify, let's say it was 200, like $50 of 200 is 25% of value on the stock. So I will be watching NVIDIA here for sure. You see how strong this zone is, this area. Keep an eye on it. I may be entering calls here if you hold. This looks very promising. Look how many times we use this level right there. Boom. So keep an eye on it. This is very interesting for a call. If we hold these levels, if we don't hold this, it's going to be nasty. It can go all the way to 130s, 131, 130. So that's something to keep an eye on it. I really like this one. Okay, let's do one more. Do you guys have any preference? Neo. Okay, let's check Neo. They have earnings Tuesday, I think. Earnings is on the 28th. So Wednesday. Wednesday before market opens. It's right at that pivot, like it's right there. If we could, this was a strong push after. Does we have any volume on this? 26,000? No, it cannot be. 2,900 shares on this candle here. No. 26,000, yeah. 26,000 shares traded on this candle. Even at 382. That's a very good entry. Very good entry. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we need to break this zone here, 391, 392, to confirm more upside. If we break this, we're definitely gonna have a high chance to test 404, and then that's gonna be the key level for the week, which is because that's the main weekly pivot. Watch 404, which is here, and as you can see, also confirmed by price action. That's a good level because look all this over here. So yeah, that's gonna be the line of descent for upside on Neo. Right now, it gives a very nice bounce. If we see a rejection of this pivot at first, just watch for the monthly pivot at 378, and you can keep that as risk. Is this 28th? Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm sorry, I forgot that tomorrow is closed, so it's Tuesday. Tuesday before market open. So yeah, we now we just watch. There is no entry at the moment, but chart wise, it's probably setting up for a beat. Although I don't like when they're really so close, but we'll see. It's hard to make a prediction since the earnings is before market open. If it was after market open, I would definitely keep that plan that watch this dip here to buy and watch this one to break to go up. Now, if we beat, first level to break is going to be 432. Then the next one is going to be at 496. And then we're going to have 521. If we miss, the first support level is going to be at 312, 321-ish. And then he needs to hold, I'm going to go over here, 260. So we'll see. Now I want to show you the, guys, 2 calls I made pre-market. One was OTLK. So on OTLK, right before market open, pre-market open, I opened my computer and was checking the previous runners for the week. And I saw that OTLK was right there at the yearly pivot, and it was also the main weekly pivot. And I said, if we can hold this, then we can see a very nice reversal. And look what happened. It went from 190-ish, it was actually lower than that, but 190, all the way to the other pivot at 289 is like a monstrous run. That's how much, let me do a quick math. That's about 52% ROI right there. That's insane return on your money. Insane. So this is an exemplification of how our preparation is important and how strong those pivots are. So you could catch this move, this monstrous move before anybody else. Like the open market was right here. The low of this candle was 185 and the high was 189. That's what was when I sent the message. It was like, that's crazy. You were ahead of everybody. Everybody started getting in over here when you start popping and start getting not even volume. The volume came in over here, but everybody start hopping in over here, and you could go get in over there, down there, because you had your preparation. We had that level set pre-market. It's insane. Now BIOC was the other one that we called on the same terms. We saw this strong push, and then we had a strong retracement, and we were at this all this confusion over here. You can see here all this confusion from previous action, and it was also a monthly pivot. But this one, I mentioned a break above the main day pivot because it has been breaking so strong, and this is the R1 pivot, monthly pivot, and the main monthly was at 99 cents. So I didn't want to try to catch the falling knife. That's why I mentioned the break above the 115, and look what happened. This was also a monstrous move. It's like, this is perfect real-time, real example of how our TA works, how our pivot strategy works. It was such a perfect move. Everybody was piling in over here, getting squeezed over here, getting there, and you could have got in over here at 116, and then just ride it. Just set a break even or a break below that. Never got there. Never got there. You could have ride all this move. It's insane. But that was just a quick review of those two calls that we had on the chat Friday, just to show how it works, why I always emphasize those pivots, the yearly pivot, the quarterly pivot. Those are very strong pivots. And when they are in conjunction with other things like price action, intraday main pivots, it's very important. So I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day tomorrow. Thank everybody, all veterans, and for their service. And enjoy your weekend and family, guys. I see you Tuesday, pre-market, 7 a.m. Let's get that money. Thank you so much.